Hey guys, and gals too, welcome back. This time of the year, still the water temperature is about 60 degrees. You got to move something horizontal. You got to move it quick to look for the fish. You got to be looking all the time to find patches of green weed and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, in the fall, a chatterbait, it's your best bet. It's something that allows you to cover a lot of water fast. You don't have to worry about weeds. I'd love to use a rattle bait, but I'm a little shallower here right now. Maybe in the afternoon, I'll drop off on some 8 and 10, 12 foot stuff and burn a rattle bait around, because you saw in some of the other videos we've done, there's an absolute sea of fish to be had on rattle baits. But I'm gonna get at it with this right now. There you go.
Atta boy.
I think it might be the wrong kind. Just don't take my rattle bait. Boy, did he ever club that. Just smacked it. He's the feisty one. Oh, he's decent. Oh, he's off the hook, even better. All right, big boy. There you go. Chewed up that old rattle bait. Little pike always makes for a little bit of fun.
Big or small, we love them all. Nice job.
There you go. Here's something I don't recommend you do too often.
Kiss you or kiss the fish?
Well, either. You kiss me, Scotty, you're gonna be in trouble. Me likes this one. Think about that. There we go.
Oof.
Thanks, Luke.
No problem.
He just slack lined me. Came up behind it and the line just went slack.
Right off that
I had
edge.
to set the hook twice to catch up to him. Well, I know Sooner said we've caught a couple. Luke's got a couple here. We caught a couple of pike, but I know Sooner said we're just missing something here. And I pick up a crankbait, and like the 5th cast I take with a crankbait, that's one of those new Macbeths. My favorite one too. It's the 63 floater, and it just goes to show, you know, when you're fishing in the fall, you got to find out what they want. You got to keep trying things. You can't just keep jamming what you're using to them. If you're fishing with a chatterbait, if you're fishing with a buzzbait, which are awesome choices this time of the year, you can't force the fish. You can't make them bite it. If they're not going to bite it, they're not going to bite it. There's a million different reasons, but when they start getting bigger like that, they're eating stuff like this. That's all the deal. You just got to keep experimenting. And you know what? If I go for 15 minutes here and I don't catch another fish with a crankbait, I'll try something else. I'll move on to something else. Just because you caught a fish doesn't mean it's the one you're going to catch the most on. And that's one thing about me. When I get out there, I like to catch the most. We'll get that one back. Ooh, I'd give that one a 10.
Oof. Junk.
I haven't been in a boat for so long the last couple of weeks. It's like they said, be nice to him. Okay. Look at the bend in the rod, eh? Gotta love it. This guy just T-boned. He's not a giant, but he's a good one. Notice that one? Same thing. This one area of the lake that we're fishing, every fish is like that. We went around, caught the odd one here and there in other places. Not biting the same way, not chasing things either. Now, this isn't a giant, but it's a really nice fish. We'll let him go. Ooh, that'd be about a 9.7, 9.8 even from the Russian.
Even from the Russian judge.
See See the bend in the rod? I always talk about the crankbait rod, horizontal lures. The other way, it's just a one hook in the lure. Don't come out. Got a PM70. Not as big as the first one, but he'll do. Yeah, when I can't get my hand across the back of them, they're getting big. How's that?
Yeah, baby.
Changed up again. Once again today, everything I'm doing is going this way. Going this way. No jigs on the bottom, stuff like that. I tried it right at the beginning in a couple of little spots, not a sniff, nothing. I know it's a slower process and everything, but got one on the chatterbait, and we got a real big one with me, and that's the baby doing all the damage right there, Jackal TN70. And see my little VMC snap? Gotta have that. No swivel on it, just a snap to give it some room to move. We'll get this baby back in the water.
I think so. A little guy.
You're all counting this boat.
Little guy. One day he's gonna grow up to be a big one. Look at that. Oh, dude, the big man is like right there. Yeah. Sorry, Jim. Let me just get this minnow off my hook.
Oh, and you got you.
Yeah. Oh, get the gaff. Look at that toad. Whew. Yeah, baby. Big or small, we love them all.
Hey, folks, well, as you saw, we didn't have a great day out there, but we certainly caught some fish. You know, more importantly, it's always really nice to get out with your buddies and catch a few fish because you know the winter's coming. Now, I got to tell you, when it's that time of the year in the fall, what happens is, and you've probably heard me talk about this before, the surface clutter's gone off the weed. So now you've got the weed that's down below the surface, so you've got room to fish over top of it now. So it becomes very important to myself and a lot of guys that are really good fishermen that you use lures that run horizontal. I'm not telling you can't get bit by throwing a jig down in the weeds or something, and you can. We're going to talk about that. But horizontal is the deal because it allows you to cover a lot of water. The fish are looking up now. They can see a lot more than they could all summer because they had all that stuff over the top of the weeds. One of the things I really like to use when it gets into that is fishing with a rattle bait. That's a Jackal TN70. I was fishing on 20-pound test fluorocarbon and fishing on what is undoubtedly I guess you could call it one of my favorite rods of my life is the Zodius 176. And you can see the flex on that rod. See the flex on that rod, the way it flexes? That's what keeps these baits hooked up in the fish's mouth. When they've got it hanging out of their mouth or stuck in the edge, shake it and you hear that bait rattle. If you have a stiff rod, you rip it out of their mouth. They don't get rid of it, you tear it out. And it's just something that you really need to remember. Let that rod do the work for you. It's just like a bungee cord. Once that rod loads like that, keep it like that. Just keep steady pressure on them, and there's like 99% chance that the fish are going to come in the boat. Don't be afraid of these horizontal type baits that I hear people say all the time. Oh, they always get off. Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen if you use the right rod. When it comes to reels, I've been with Shimano for almost 40 years now. I use all different types of reels. The whole lineup out there. This particular one's a Metanium, a beautiful reel, great for what it is. But, regardless of your pocket, you can use whatever you can afford. They're all going to get the job done for you. And I can guarantee that for you. In fact, you can go check all this stuff out at Shimano.com. They have a really good website that shows everything, explains everything, all the features and everything else. I'm going to put the link down below as a matter of fact, just to be sure you get it. So that's one of the offerings that you can have. Now, another thing that's really, really good in the fall for fishing over top of this stuff is a chatterbait. This particular one here is from a buddy of mine, Mark Lobel, who does weapons of bass destruction. You can see this one. This rod was put away. I pulled it out. The tail's chewed off. The skirt's all busted up. You can see how many fish I've caught with this and how much I've used it. Now, when I fish with these, I'm probably going to fish it on 30-pound test Power Pro. I could use Max Quattro like original Power Pro, and I like to use the original Power Pros because the surface is a little more abrasive and it cuts the weeds really, really well. But there's something that, it's a type of bait that when a fish eat it, you catch them. It's all there is to it. Now, some other options are for you out there too. The Z-Man ones, they're awesome stuff. And there's another one here that they have that I really like. That's pretty cool. It's a stealth model. It doesn't come through the water with that same thump and pound. The blade isn't as visible because it's clear. And I sometimes this will just work when the bigger one won't work. And this particular rod here is an IMX 883 bladed jig rod. And I'll tell you, you really need, if you can't afford, you really need to look at getting rods and reels that are specific purposes. And this is one place where the bladed jig rod, I'm big on when I fish. If I fish with a rod, say it's brand new, and I get out there and I fish with it, and I lose the first couple of fish, it plays the mental game with you. You're not going to want to use that rod again. And that's something a lot of people don't think about. But with these things here, I bet you 98.5% of the fish that I hook with this rod come to the boat. And it's just it's really, really a dream. Once again, check out the link that we posted to Shimano and Loomis. You can check all this stuff out. This particular one is an 883. Now that's two of them. Something I'm really well known for is crankbait fishing. Now I would normally fish these crankbaits on that Zodius rod that I showed you earlier with the glass in it, the composite. But they've got something brand new out now in the SLX series that is basically the same rod, but it's a lot less expensive. So you can see it has all the exact same flex, same flex. Now I haven't fished with this a lot. I just got it here late in the fall, but I absolutely love it. Nice thing about these SLX rods is that the price is a lot lower for the average guy that just gets out on a weekend to fish once in a while. He can still have a separate crankbait rod because, as I stressed to you, having these rods for different techniques is really, 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 really important. Now, once again, I'm probably going to fish with 20-pound test fluorocarbon for most of this. If the weed was a little bit heavier, I might go to braid, especially if I was going to fish a little bit shallower and be in some weed still. But I'm going to stick with the fluorocarbon when it's out in the open, especially in clear water. If I was fishing murky water, I wouldn't worry about it. Where we were fishing today, right up behind the house here, the water was crystal clear. It's just, it's just after the algae's gone, it starts to clear up. I was using a DC. Sometimes I like to use the DC reel when I'm fishing crankbaits, especially when I'm going to fish smaller ones. This is a decent sized crankbait. This is my favorite one. It's a Macbeth 63. They're brand new this year, and nice thing about it is they come in. You can get them in bigger sizes, and something. They got these little weenie guys here for crappies and stuff like that. And I've caught some largemouths over 5 pounds with this when they wouldn't eat this. Just, they're a little harder to cast when they're so small like this. Trust me, they work. There's something about them. Now, when they set out to develop these baits, they wanted them to react like balsa. And when I watch them in the water, I look at it, and if I didn't know it was made from plastic, I would tell you. If I saw it go by, I would tell you, oh, that's a balsa bait. And it's unbelievable the reaction they have in the water to the movement. When I used to do tons of crankbait fishing years ago. That's how I won a lot of tournaments. And it was almost with all of it was done with balsa baits. And it's amazing how these things mimic that. And I can't believe how many fish. Like I already got back to crankbait fishing again this year. It was something that I really got carried away with. But that's basically the type of stuff that you should be using. Over top of these weeds. Keep it horizontal. Cover a lot of water. Don't be afraid to fish fairly quickly. And when I say quickly, I don't mean that you always have to be reeling the lure so quick. Is that if you have an electric motor, it's really, really good. You can keep the boat moving toward the lure at the same time, so you're covering water as you go. So make nice long casts, but you got to remember these fish are going to come up out of the weeds and get the lures. So you want to use something that's got a lot of vibration, like the chatterbait, the rattle baits, the TNs we went over. They're down in those weeds, and they come up to get it. In fact, we had a couple one of the days where I actually at the front of the boat was watching and actually saw mouse come up out of the weeds. Like, they had committed to go straight up right at the boat because the weeds are still nice and thick down below, although you've got 3 or 4 feet over top of them at the time. But that's some stuff that you can have a look at. And I'm sure that, you just saw what happened there. The fish do come in the boat in September. A lot of people think September is the big transition. And it is. It is a time of transition and things are changing. But it doesn't mean that if you go out and fish, the best time to catch fish is whenever you can go. Let the fish tell you what they want. If I'm fishing with a rattle bait for 15 minutes and I don't get a bite, I'll change. I might go back to it. I might go back to it in half an hour. I might go back to it in the afternoon. But, get out there and do it. It's the only way you're going to catch fish. As always, folks, if you like what you see, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button. If you have time, get down and hit the like button too. Give us a share. We really appreciate it. And I want you to check at the end of this after this. And you're going to see a little clip that I did with Scotty Martin from Canadian Fishing Network. Great guy, great organization, free. Check it out on Facebook. In fact, we're going to put the link down below for you to get to it. And it's just something that's really, really good. We go live every Monday night on Facebook, so you can always learn something. We have contests. We give stuff away. It's all free, and it's a great, great time. But we're going to talk with Scotty. He's a great guy, and it's a really good organization. And we're out of here. We're going to go catch some more fish. I'm here with Scotty Martin from the CFN. Behind that camera is the limestone angler himself, Mr. Luke Northmore. We spent the day out behind the house here today where we've been absolutely cracking them for the last couple of weeks. Didn't unfold the way I wanted it to. It's probably still not bad by a lot of people's standards, but it didn't quite unfold. We caught some nice fish. Luke got a great one toward the end of the day. Scotty plucked a few out at the back of the boat. I got a nice bite. I don't know how many people will watch the CFN, but Scotty's the grand poobah, I guess you would say, at the CFN. Scotty, what's the CFN to you? Like when you go out every Monday night now for like 7 years, we get on there, people come, you got 13,000 followers across Canada, which is, like a pretty good group, eh? What's the CFN to you? What does it mean to the people?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the 7 years, my friend.
No problem, buddy.
Really appreciate that. But it's just like you, like the community itself, it's a family. And, if there's 14 people watching or 14,000 people watching, as long as there's people out there getting knowledge, getting information, getting their questions answered, that's what it's all about, is educating, especially that next generation of anglers. I love when I hear the kids are watching. That's why we do a really good job trying to make sure it's a family show and keep the profanity down and what have you. But every single Monday, we get Big Jim, we get Lawrence Gunther, we get Jay Barn, who's on there. And you guys just land-based the community with all kinds of information. And we're truly in debt to the three of you.
Yeah, it's what we do. We're part of it. I'm really blessed out of the bunch. I'm the one that, truly makes my living in the fishing industry. And it's always cool for me to watch the perspective of people from outside of it, to hear them comment and talk, regardless of whether it's, dealing with, crap that blows up in the fishing world, all kinds of stuff, whatever, whether it's a kid catching a fish, and I mean, a kid catches a fish and gets his picture and sends it in, and Steve does it up in one of those little things that they do, to put on Facebook, and you see it, I look at those, I get a big smile, and I get a warm feeling in my belly. Hey folks, check out the CFN on Facebook, all kinds of social media, and 7 o'clock Eastern every Monday night. We've been doing it for 7 years. We're probably going to do it for about, I don't know, I'm getting up to 70. We probably got it another 6 or 8 years anyway. And all joking aside, if I wasn't here, I'd want him. I'd want them to run with it, find another person and carry it on, because it's a really good thing.
For the entire CFN community, I want to thank you for laying the foundation. You've built this community, you built this industry. You've been a stalwart and a great ambassador to this sport. And if we can somehow keep up the tradition, even after you're gone, it'll truly be an honor. But
you have to. Well, as long as the checks keep clearing,
Amen, brother. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate everything you.
Buddy.
Yeah, appreciate
it's all
it.
good.